Good morning, good evening, and good night. It's another episode of Low Tech Health. Let ourselves translate expert knowledge. Let's hope for the best. Let's forgive my foul mouth Friday. Let's hope for the best. I'm going to try a thing. See if I can go 5 minutes without mentioning any of this, you know. So, I'd like to start with the beginning of my nursing career, not very long ago, about 4 years, July 2016. Some of the things that bothered me right away about nursing that I wasn't expecting. So, first of all, give this thing called heparin. It's a powerful blood thinner, an anticoagulant that helps thin the blood, and the adage is prevent blood clots. You're in a hypercoagulable state, having had X disease, and being in Y place, the hospital. You're more than likely, as soon as you cross the threshold of the hospital doors, to experience a blood clot. So, because of that 1 to maybe 50 million people who experience that, everyone who is not contraindicated, which means shouldn't get this blood clot preventer, which would mean they already have a blood clot in their brain. Well, actually, that's right. They do have blood clot in their brain. We give more of this blood thinner. But if your blood is astoundingly thin and you're supratherapeutic, which means your blood is so thin that we'd have to probably save you if a bleeding event were to occur because your body wouldn't clot fast enough on its own. So, regardless, where was I? You get heparin. Everyone gets heparin. And the way we give that is we draw this little, looks like a little cartridge, rip the top off of a cartridge, stick a 25 gauge needle in it, draw up our medicine, and then say, hey, pellizco or pequeña pellizco, pequeña picadura, and pequeña pellizco. A little pinch and a little sting, because we're coming for your belly with a very powerful blood thinner, because we have orders to, because you could perhaps experience a blood clot. This is probably the first thing I fucking hated about hospitals, because the floor I came to is what they called an innovation floor, which means we're not going to give you enough supplies or staff, so you're going to have to figure it out on your own. It was for patients who had a stroke first time in the hospital, may have not actually been a stroke either, could just be grandma starting to get worsening UTI symptoms and gets a little confused and takes a swing at Sunny. But also, she could just be severely demented and fucking hate him. Who knows? Who knows? And then along those sides of the first time in the hospital, we have patients who have never left the hospital because they're on dialysis. They have no veins, and their body is just a system of spigots that you have to disconnect and reconnect in order to filter their blood. And throw in some infectious disease patients that we can't cure before all this. It had a Acinetobacter, it had TB. I had SARS before it was really big. Now, well, I guess a little after it was big in 2009, but I had it in about 2017. A patient with it, not the disease itself. So, yeah, we'd give these heparin shots to patients who just came in for a stroke and will be gone in 2 days. Super bullshit. Super bullshit. We'd have these SCDs, these sequential compression devices, that also help prevent blood clots. But for patients who are impulsive and a little up on in age, they don't like being in a room that they don't understand. They've been great for me all day. It's night shift coming in, and they're pulling on their restraints, they're pulling out their mitts, and they look like boxing gloves. First of all, why are they restrained? Why do they have mitts on? These are questions I wasn't ready to ask in the first few months of my nursing career. But when you have an agitated patient who's just confused and he's not really a danger to himself, he just wants to walk around, strapping him down to the bed, probably your worst idea. So I come in, they've been fine all day, night shift comes, they want to fight with me. They want to fuck me up. So what do? We give them powerful antipsychotics that put them in a K-hole, basically, for the night. We don't solve their problems. And then on top of that, we have these compressors that some nurses are really devout that they must put them on there to prevent those deep vein thromboses in the lower extremities. But they're little wraps that are attached to their legs, and then they're attached to these hoses that go into this pump. And this pump is under the bed. These hoses are extremely long. The extension cord is extremely long. There's 3 obstacles for these patients to fall over and bust their ass. And they've done it. And this is not something that's been addressed. So you're all blood thinned out. You fall because you got obstacles that we've said they're going to help prevent blood clots. And then, bam, you hit your head and you have to stay for weeks because you've hit your head and your blood's too thin. So you have a massive brain bleed. This is what I don't fucking like about the hospital. We create perfect storms. We think that we're going to give all these people and just humans, give them the perfect combination of devices and supplements and medicine. We're going to put this inside of them and then they're going to heal. That's not how healing and health works. As we're seeing with social distancing, one of the only things we really can do when we can't fix or cure or treat a virus, you have to put yourself in the perfect environment, and then your body will heal. You can't take the perfect environment, shove it inside somebody, and throw your hands up and say, well, that should have worked. The steroids, the blood thinner, the antibiotics, the antivirals, everything should have worked in combination to fix them. But it hasn't. Why? Oh, because they're crying all the time, they're screaming, and they haven't slept in 3 weeks. So, with this social distancing, I came right around to it. Here I am. Just remember that it's important to put yourself in the best environment to heal and not think that we can fix you as medicine practitioners, not even a practitioner, not even, but somebody who's going to implement some of these practices. That won't fix you just by shoving it inside of you. You have to be sure that you're putting yourself in the best place to heal. So take care of yourself. Forgive my foul mouth Friday, but fuck heparin for most part. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. See you Monday.